Hello, guys. Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Daily Teachings. Hope everybody had a great Monday, great start of the week, guys. So decent day. I mean, it started a little slow because there were some gaps across the board, but by end of the day, it turned out to be really nice day. We had our repeatable setups in the midday bounce setups. Today was not exactly the 512 calls. Today was a lot of those. Market was 3450 bounce setups. So we're going to talk about that setup today, and we're going to discuss a bunch of other plays, our Tesla shorts, NVIDIA morning shorts, and Tesla NVIDIA midday calls. So we are going to discuss all that. Before I do that, let's do a quick introduction to anybody who's new to me, new to my YouTube, new to our Twitter or X accounts, or new to our community. All these trade recaps, all these teachings, guys, these are based upon anything that I share in the community on my Twitter accounts or a bunch of our Twitter accounts, standard charts, standard research, or Ripster account. Anything I shared with you guys in previous YouTube videos, I shared something last time, you will remember, like SPY. Anything I shared there, and that's all where it's coming from. We trade a repeatable system called Ripster EMA Cloud trading system that traders use. Thousands of traders across the world use to trade consistently. We trade repeatable setups. System is how you trade, setup is what you trade. We trade on a principle of 4 pillars of trading: system, setups, risk, and goals. Every morning, me and my team, we create a game plan for the day. You see the game plan in front for you. It has a bunch of news, earning plays, market plays, upgrades, downgrades, and we highlight anything which is which is of high focus. We highlight those. These are different plays, right? You need to know what you want to trade. You want to trade market plays, index plays, which work with the market. News plays work irrespective of the market. So anyways, we have a support, resistance, and we have initial game plan. Based upon this game plan, which I do live half an hour before the market open, I provide to the traders in community, and everybody uses this game plan and trades the repeatable system using this game plan. We also have something called day 2 setups. It's a repeatable strategy on to how to trade the day 2 setups. Yeah, I didn't really focus too much on a lot of these day 2 setups, although there was a bunch of Hood and few other names were, nice movers on the day 2 setups. We'll discuss all that. And we also provide the levels for the index stocks every day: SPY, QQQ, IWM, VIX, Apple, Microsoft, AMD, and all those other names. We also provide levels and that you can trade with the EMA Cloud system for crypto stocks. We have a crypto list every day that we trade. In addition to that, we also have futures level. We trade futures in the community: ES, NASDAQ, gold, and oil futures, if you want to trade those using the EMA Cloud system. In addition to this, we also share IPO lists, low float channel. We have a low float channel, low float list, and basically we're trying to find anything that move in the market and make some profits with that. Our goal is always to have minimal losers. We have losers, but have big winners. And we have various concepts that I teach again and again in these videos: morning concepts, midday concept, VIX concepts, trend concepts, 10:30 a.m. concept, midday calls. We have repeatable setups that we trade. We do not touch anything random. We have thousands of traders in the community. We have a very active trading floor where thousands of traders all day long share trade ideas all day, helping each other to find those opportunities to make some profit in the stock market. We have four option scanners. We have stock scanners. We have Bookmap. We have over $500-600 per month worth of scanners free in the community. We have breaking news alert. Reddit was an amazing trade today on a news alert because our news bars are the fastest. We have news on Squawk. We have news on the dedicated trading floor, news flow. We have a bunch of those things in community to help the traders to make good decisions. I'm on voice first few hours of the market open. If needed, I'm usually around all day guiding the traders through the trade setups. We are not an alert service, but my goal is to show the setups, guide through the setups. If I'm taking any trade, I mention those trades as well. Even if I don't take any trade, I still try to guide the traders through our watchlist game plan and market environment. And that's why you see high success in our community and these recaps, because we follow a perfect setup of the market and system. So we'll discuss all that, and I'll show you my timestamp guidance. I cannot really show you what I discuss on the voice, but let's start with the recap. All right, so let's start with the SPY today, right? If you remember, a few days back on our 10 charts, I shared the chart of SPY. If you look at that SPY chart, SPY was the setup that you see this. This was the setup that I shared a few days back. So this was a setup we were looking for the markets to call and to show us that SPY wants to move higher, right? So not only that, QQQ was also a similar setup. You can see that downtrend channel, a very clean channel on the downtrend side of QQQ. So this is why we were looking for a reversal on the market, reclaiming these support zones. And at the VIX, we were looking for VIX to break the key levels of support of 22, 21 to see the higher side push on SPY. Most of this move was made in the gap up, but regardless, by end of the day, SPY showed us the reversal. Now, I'll discuss and at end of this section, but if VIX keeps breaking under 20, we will start to push back towards 580 and we'll start to make a nice move back on SPY and reversal. And if there's not really any bad news out of tariffs, and if the rate decision is good, which is on Wednesday, we might see the curl back. Right now, we just have to focus on VIX 20. That was our SPY QQQ chart with we came in today with. Surprisingly, IWM was also one of the strong names today, the strong index today, because of the rate cut. IWM as well is showing the similar setup as others, breaking through that downtrend channel and trying to push higher. That's why a lot of smaller names were strong today. So we want continues to see this push into Wednesday, and then after the rate cut, or if there's a rate cut, we'll see how this works out. But definitely the market, the only risk right now is the trade news. If we do not hear too much, we might be in an environment for a short-term bounce where we can swing some stuff. We'll take a look at some swing charts. One of the swing winners, why I chose that. So we will take a look. Anyways, so let's go see how we traded the SPY QQQ today. So let's look at what was our plan in the pre-market on SPY QQQ. The plan on the pre-market was long if market breaks, if VIX breaks 2170, we will long, and cautious if it holds. We also wanted to see 21 breakdown as well. So as per the plan, when we saw that market is strong right out of the gate, we took a long right out of the gate, 512 long when SPY was pushing right out of this area. You can see that, and our plan was to trade it long into 10 a.m. And we got a push, but when we hit a resistance at 10 a.m. because VIX was kind of initially broke down 2170. My first level, you see that it broke the 2170 right here. Where did it go? Right here, 2170, but then it did not break 21. So that's why we got this long for first 20-30 minutes for SPY 563s to 566. We got that long, 2.5 point long. So that long was working for us. ES futures, if you want to look at ES futures, you can see that the morning ES futures, we pushed like 5640, 560, really 20 points you could make in first half an hour. So ES, that's what ES did, and we were long on ES, and of course QQQ was a little behind, not as same as SPY, but that also pushed. Now as it hit 10 a.m., you can see my 512 long idea right at the open. We were flagging at 10 a.m., but then 1 try, 2 try, 3 try, 4 try, 5 tries, it could not break this level, and VIX started to bounce. So that's when you think of getting out. That's when it broke this 512. I told everybody to get out. So this break, you get out, right? Because this is the chop where you will lose money. If you're adding the calls here, you will lose money. You have to add at these bottoms and, wait for the breakout. But the main trade at the open was all right. Nothing crazy, 20, 30% there. But let's see here. So So that was our morning trade, right? So we avoided the longs once we pushed back here. So that's, we were done with that trade. Now what happens is later in the day, I posted this setup. Let's see if I can show you here on the. Let me see if I can show you there. Go. So later in the day, when we were looking for the reversal on the market, we got this right here. You see this one? Not this one. Yeah, this was before that, right? So we saw that this curl started to happen. VIX started to break 21. Remember what I said in pre-market? And we started to bounce over these clouds, right? These clouds, this is called 3450 midday reversal. 3450 midday reversal. Bounce in this case, reversal in this case. And that was the long. So most of the community traders in community know that you see pushed once again, bounced again, you take long here. VIX is failing to get over 21, you take long here. Now, I had stepped away on that call when it was happening, but the traders in my community and everybody who learns from my teachings already knows that this is how to execute these setups. So this was the long right here, 564s, 50s, and your stops like, less than $1 or $1. You could put $1 stop, and then you trade the breakout towards the SPY and do higher. When these kind of breakouts happen, and I did post it in the community as well, that we have this breakout setup right here, and I sent out some call alerts as well for my community so the traders know, and we also see the breakdown of VIX. So now these kinds of reversals happen, then you long it and use ATR for your target. At that time when it just started, ATR was just 55%, then 60%, 65%, then 71%, and we ended up to make, we ended up doing 74% on SPY, and we did QQQ 71%. And by that time, it was already market close, and then we break the 512s. That's where most of the traders exit. This is the 512s you clearly see. So there was a money to be made on this move on SPY, going long SPXL, or if you're trying to trade the options. We can look at tomorrow's options as well if you want to see that, 566s. They went from $2 to $4. Easy 100% trade you could do in the middle of the day on these repeatable 3450 setup, right? So you see that there is a reason I posted this setup in the middle of the day, because VIX was breaking down. Again, let's go back to our plan. Our plan was simple: long if VIX breaks 21, 2170, 2150, 21. So once 21 was gone, you were getting your midday calls on QQQ, ES futures, NASDAQ futures. That's what you take long on that, and that's what you take long, and you trade it higher to the upside, right? So that's the key to trading these moves in the you can trade NASDAQ futures as well. Let's look there. You could trade NASDAQ E-mini futures as well, and you can see that they bounce at 3450, and same for the option charts. Even the option charts follow the clouds as well, and you can see that. So there was opportunity to make money in the market. 10 a.m. you would have lost if you tried this 10 a.m. because we failed that 10 a.m. flag. But these were the setups, midday setups that traders were trading in the community on SPY QQQ, and those were the calls which resulted in some other calls as well, which we will discuss. So there are some other strength in IWM too as well. So IWM was a long today because it was strong because of CPI. And if you look at the levels that I gave for IWM, 203, 204, 205, you see IWM never break the clouds. While the SPY QQQ was pushing from 3450, IWM was already stronger, and it pushed from 512. Nice little flag break, and then it pushed higher all day long. So IWM was a beautiful trade as well in the community if you traded those, and I did mention it that why it is strong. It's a rate sensitive index, so if they cut the rates, it will see some bounce. All right, let's look at our big winner today. Another in a play in the series, Tesla trade for living series. So as you see, Tesla was a big short trade for us today. And then, of course, it was a long curl as well, end of the day. So let's look at what was the plan on Tesla here. So plan on Tesla was pretty simple. There was a bunch of news. Profit. Mizu decreased the PT. JP Morgan said the quarterly deliveries will be bad. They were launching some free trial on FSD. Support was 245. So I said, everyone, do not no long under 245, short under MTF, long over it, bearish to neutral buys. So you see that I gave this pre-market planning to everyone already. And right when it broke the MTF, I told everyone MTF short because it's an A plus short. Because we have news, bad news, downgrades, you short it. Even actually you short it in the first flush, gave us 239. It swiped back to the clouds, gave you another opportunity to short. That's when I gave the stops over 245 to everyone. You put your stops 245, you short here again. And then it faded. Our first target was 235. We hit our 235 in middle of the day. And then we hit 232s. So it was a beautiful $10. If you bought 100 shares, you risked $100, you made $700-800. If you risked $1,000, you made $5-6 depending on your account size. And if you traded options with this, and you mind it, it was all pretty laid out, the plan on Tesla. And love it when there's news. You want to focus on something which has news, because when you focus on the news plays, they will move irrespective of the market. So you can see that how 240 puts, there were 240 puts. They pushed right out of the gate from $6-7 to $9. You could make some profit there. Once Tesla was rejecting, those same puts went from 7 to 12. Not completely 100%, but still very nice move on those the puts, right? So then came our Tesla midday calls. Again, I think I sent some price alerts as well. So that was your long on Tesla. You stop out right here at 234s actually. The calls was right here, and this alert was wrong. But this is where you long it, and then you long it back 4 points, right? Look at the system, guys. Short, long. Only 2 trades. Short, long. You could short here. You long here, you can long here, and once it broke the 512, you exited. You could make another $3-4 on the long side. So very clean EMA Cloud, trades in the community. Big trade for me. That was my personal main trade that I was doing today. Really happy with the execution, how we traded Tesla. Big winner for everyone in the community. All right, so the next setup we're going to look at is AFRM. So what was our plan on AFRM today? So let's see here. Let's go to our pre-market planning. So the plan on AFRM today was, AFRM was one of our top red focus plays. Klarna will be provider of the buy now, pay later for Walmart. You know what AFRM does. It does buy now, pay later. So if some other company is going to do it for Walmart, they're going to lose the business, and bearish news, So 46 support, 47 resistance, neutral to bearish, no long under 46. So bias was neutral to bearish, no long under 46. And as soon as I saw that 46 break down, I told everyone that it's a short. It's a short. The short triggered right at the open. You short it. And the first target I gave was pre-market lows. And then I told everybody to put your stops at 44.60. 44.60 right here was the shorts when we flushed under the pre-market lows. I was expecting more, but there was a 42 buyer. So you stop out right here over 44, right? So that's when I said 512 calls, you short is done. 44 calls, the short is done, right? So that the short is done here, and then you play the curl. You add here, your stops are under this candle. You add 44.50, 44.60, you hold it into the MTF clouds. AFRM gave you, $2 short, $2 up, beautiful trade, right? If you just shorted AFRM, you risk, what would you risk right at the open? You would risk $1, but you are making $2, right? Risking 1,000, making 2,000. What is you risking here? You're risking $500. You're making, again, $2,000. So risking 500, making 2,000. So there were 2 trade setups on a firm. And okay, so that was a firm, guys. No hindsight, no BS, pre-market guidance, one of the top plays. Live guidance, and a lot of guidance is on the voice. respected the cloud system. Beautiful trade. Let's go to the next one. All right, so next one we're going to discuss is, let's see, next one we're going to discuss is INTC. So let's see how INTC was doing. I'll say INTC was pretty good. Whole community was on top of INTC today. Everybody was trading INTC. RGV grade, a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful alert on INTC in the community. He gave the long right at the open, and we can see that that INTC today was on our game plan, and you can see that day 3 setup, bullish bias if 3450 holds, and it broke out right away. So you take a long right away when you see that pre-market high or this breaking out. And I saw it late and I said there's a flag breakout. I think I gave everybody the flag breakout. That was, I set a price alerts on INTC. This was the breakout, 2450. That's why I had it. And then we hit a flag break, and then it continues to push towards 26 all day, and you stop out right here when it breaks down there. So it was a nice trade. You can see RGV guiding everybody, and the whole community was trading on INTC. D trades was on top of it. Pretty good setup there to trade as well on INTC. You just have to be ready in the pre-market with these. So next one we're going to look at is Amazon. So Amazon was pretty heavy this morning. The first hour or so, the whole Mag 7 was pretty heavy, right? So what was Amazon? Amazon was testing 200 SMA, and it's also near 200 psychological level. 200 SMA, not a big part of my system, but everybody should know about it. And 200 psych breakout long if market is strong, right? But what happened was it could not push over 200. It gave a short right here. So I was on a voice. I told everybody Amazon super bearish. There's no long on Amazon. Let's see what community was doing on Amazon today. So you see that most of the traders were, short on Amazon right at the open. Kyle and Cole and Siri, Patsal, everybody were talking about it. And you see this MTF breakdown on Amazon, and Amazon, look at how much the sell was from 200 psychological level, guys. Look at that sell. I mean, you could literally make 3-4 points and nice move on the option puts there on Amazon. And this weakness was with the market. When market was doing this, that's when Amazon was doing that. All right, let's look at NVIDIA. So NVIDIA was a morning short. I personally did not short it, but I made sure nobody longed it in the community. A lot of traders were short actually. No long today. I told everybody that it can flush to 2021 MTF. Then Ghostboard also came in. He showed a bunch of flow on NVIDIA as well, that there's a lot of flow on NVIDIA that it's going to sell off. So anyways, nobody longed it. It was a short. I was on the voice. I told everybody short it. I gave 120 first target. Once we broke the MTF clouds, we went to the next MTF clouds and we bounced it. We curled here. This was a NVIDIA curl. I actually sent a price alert as well. Then NVIDIA is trying to curl here. When this curl happened, I sent a price alert at 119.36. Then our next one at 187. You can make $1 move up on NVIDIA. So you guys see how NVIDIA and Tesla, they were kind of similar moves here. If I can show you that, I had a tweet on that as well, showing the traders how the NVIDIA and that one was working. By the way, we have tape reading webinar tomorrow. Make sure you watch it. So you can see that how NVIDIA was short, no long, and Tesla was a short, bouncing here, 512 calls, MTF bounce, 512 calls, you long it. I told everybody should be out of all the shorts, call longs are okay. So repeatable system, another winner in the community. All right, let's go to Apple now. So Apple was a loser long in this morning, but we knew why it was a loser. It was an amateur loser. We anticipated an MTF breakout, which we did not get. So MTF long, I gave everybody. I gave Netflix long as well, and I gave Apple long, but Apple long did not work. MTF breakout was over 215. It failed right at 215. Stops were 213. So we took more than $1 loss. We moved on. You see our losses, we're keeping the loss small, and then you could short it. And that's when I said you can short it. And if you're shorting it, and you can see I shut out lower from MTF, And once it rejected the MTF, it failed, and gave a nice fade and short to everyone. And then came the 512 calls. You put long here. Beautiful call, going toward MTF. Now Apple is on high watch for coming days for reversal. Really setting up. With a defined risk of $3-4, you can take the Apple back up. So watch this Apple in coming days there. So let's look at Apple. Sorry, Netflix. Just the same time I gave the Apple long to the community, which was a loser, I also mentioned Netflix long over the MTFs because Netflix had a news and a small gap and MTF above, and it was bullish long, and it pushed, pulled back. You get out here, you get back in Netflix calls, and you trade it long rest of the day. All right, next one we're going to look at is JP Morgan. JP Morgan was one of our beautiful trades in the community. I also posted on JP Morgan. I posted, let's see if I can show you guys the chart that I posted on JP Morgan. I think I posted it yesterday. Let's see here. You see that market reverses, look for banks to join the party. And, JPM, the best bank to long over 233 with a risk of 230. All right, so that was the plan on JPM. 233 long, risk of $3, and let's see how JPM did. It pushed, right? Pushed. You long right here, right? You can put your stops at MTF Clouds. You don't really have to put 230s. I was talking about JP Morgan all day in the community, and JP Morgan ran from that towards 235. So it was a nice, decent trade. It was nothing crazy for that. So it was a nice trade, nothing crazy. Let's look at the next one. So next one we're going to look at is coin. So what was happening with the coin? Coin was mostly my voice guidance to the community. Reason the coin was that I told everybody that you can long coin when it was pushing right into the MTF for MTF breakout. You can put your stops at 182. And you can see how it pushed over the MTFs, pulled back, held the MTF, and continued to push all day. So that was a MTF coin, was an MTF trade. This was also because when market is bouncing, you just have to look for those setups that are best for you. So coin was a nice trade in the community as well. On the watch for swing as well. All right, guys. China was a big winner today. Very strong. China had news. It was on our game plan. You see that BIDU, Chinese search engine provider, introduced ERNIE X1 daily breakout setup for long. China better than expected growth figures for January, February. China names on watch. So we maintain a complete China list. If you want to see here, that's how you focus on these names. You need to have a watch list. So we had all the watch list China names on the list. And you can see BIDU, PDD, JD, BABA, everything was running. Our three main focus was QWEB. Our main focus was KWEB. And then our focus was BABA. And BABA, right away, Ghost Board was alerting unusual flow activity on BABA. I was too busy with Tesla. But BABA gave you long right away. I mean, anything, JD, BABA, BIDU, all of them were long, right? And then BIDU broke 100 psychological levels. So I told everybody, do not close, right? So look here. We had flag breaks. That was even at 11:30s. We had a flag break here. So I told everybody, do not close. We had a flag break. You hold it. This was your 10 a.m. long, flag break. These are all dips to long. And just like how I teach in my Trade the Open webinar, this was a long trigger on BIDU right away. You take that long, and you can see that my guidance on BIDU, daily breakout setup for long. Daily breakout setup for long. So why was that? Why was I saying that on BIDU? Let's see here. The reason I said that on BIDU, if you look at the daily chart, or even if you want to go here and on the daily chart, the breakout I was talking about was this area, right? This consolidation. When you consolidate, get out of the range, that's the breakout I was talking about, that the BIDU was breaking out of. Also pushed out of the big downtrend line we have there. So that's why BIDU was the planning. That's why I told everybody about BIDU. In the pre-market breakout long, I also sent a price alert on BIDU when it was breaking out. You can see 964, and I told the traders and community that all the China names are good longs. QWEB was a great one for smaller people, smaller account traders similarly. And that's how China pushes, right? And if you're not ready in the pre-market, if you're planning, you will always miss these trades. But anyways, amazing trades. China, the community just went crazy on all these names. A lot of traders did not expect it to go higher, but when names like BIDU are breaking 100, they're going to go higher, right? 100 is a big psychological level. Let's look at BABA. You see BABA is breaking a daily flag. And weekly range, even the monthly. I talked about monthly chart on BABA. You see that? So monthly chart, I had tweeted few weeks back. You see, this is the monthly range reversal. The character of BABA is changed. So next target on BABA is 150. So this was a range break setup, and also the intermediate intraday setups on BIDU. And you could trade literally anything. PDD was good as well. But the point is, there were so many BIDU trades. Maheen was trading, Stu, Pawn. The whole community was long. Maheen called out BIDU long right at the open. So beautiful trade in the community on these setups. Well done. All right, so next one we're going to look at is, we had so many opportunities today. Let's look at Reddit. And, so Reddit was, of course, I've been talking about Reddit. I love the daily chart on Reddit. You can see that I love the reversal, but we didn't get that. But I've been talking about Reddit since morning. You can see that one of the top swing watches. We'll talk about Hood. But what happened was we got a news on Reddit. Right, we got a news right in the middle of the day that Reddit has a partnership with Google. Yeah, it was a rehashed news, that's fine. But you can see that 256, we had a news alerts. We alerted that on news. The news bots alerted it. I was on the news. And so I was on the voice, and it broke out the MTF cloud. You long it. And traders longed it all the way. 10. It was a news play, right? So you have to be fast. That's how you make money. Even if you bought 100 shares, made like, $1,500, risking what, $200-300. And all the traders were on top of it in the community on Reddit. You can see that, a lot of traders took the both ways, right? GOPs, and, a lot of traders. And now what happened was that once, see, Fish Face did good on Reddit. Reddit hit 142s. ABCD was on top of it. Jeff Tippy did a really good trade on Reddit. And Reddit already gave us on the 512 longs, right? We had a 512 longs already. So traders were already trading Reddit in the community. But then what happens is we realized the news was just an old news. So I told everybody that it's an old news, be cautious, take your profit. And I also told everyone, if you want to short it, it's a D- short. You can short it with 142 risk. Why was it a D-? Because it's still in a bullish trend, right? You can get squeezed if but you have the news on your side, so you can definitely take a position. And you see that GOPS took a D- short advice, and from the short 138, 139, 140, you made another $10-15 on the downside. With just $100-200 risk, you literally made $1,000-1,200 top side, $1,000-1,200 downside. And those are the opportunities, even if you waited all day long, you could take that. This is how you trade the news. You do not get married. You do not chase. You have to be ready right away when the news hits. You trade the MTF cloud setup. The further away from you do not size too much, right? Yes, you can size probably 600-700 shares on that. You do not do that. And options, usually stay away from the options because they're spready. And if you want to get lotto, you can get a lotto. I'm sure the Reddit options went crazy today. Let's see here at 130s. You can see that 130s run from $3 to $12. Yes, if you bought one for $300, you made $1,000, right? But you just have to be fast on these news plays, and that's what we have in our community. These news sources is just beautiful. All right, let's wrap it up with one of the swing analysis. So guys, this is a repeatable setup that I have, I've been talking about a lot. And you see that Hood was a similar setup to SPY, right? You need to draw your reversal channels. These are repeatable chart pattern swings. Look at SPY, channel reversal that I talked about. Look at QQQ. So these are repeatable strategies, swing strategies I've been teaching from years and years and years, and similarly for Hood. So what was the plan on Hood? Let's go back and see. And this is not in my community. We tweeted out for everyone, right? I tweeted out this swing setup for everyone. Let's see here. So when Hood was trading 39, I gave a swing setup versus $35, $36. 1 hour turns bullish, we should see higher, and that was our plan, right? In the second day in the community, Hood kind of dipped down, and a lot of people were panicking, and I told them it's not a 10-minute trade, it's a daily chart trade. You see this pullback? That's fine, because we are trading the daily chart, so our stops are at 35, 36. And I told everybody it's a good place to add, and then Hood turned back. You can add that MTF cloud. So you got the daily chart analysis, right? That's how you do a swing trades. You got the daily chart analysis. I'm showing you the supports. I'm showing you the downtrend channel. It has chance to bounce with the market, and now you have to define your risk. I can lose $2 to the downside. If you waited, you even got a better entry. If you have 100 shares, you are willing to lose $200. But now you're already up $500. You risk $200. So you look at the intraday, and once you add a starter, once the MTF clouds are turning bullish, you add more into your swing. And I've been talking about it every day in the community. Hood, it was our main official swing because I love the setups. Yes, I could have done similar swings in many other setups, like Kava and all those. I didn't really want to risk too much before the VIX died down. So I only took Hood swing, and I focus more in that because, rather than spreading myself in multiple plays, I could just focus on Hood. This is how you do the market reversal swings. Now Hood has room to go higher towards 45. The big EMA clouds are sitting right there. But now it's a risk-free, right? I can put my stops break even. If I did 36, I can put stops break even. I can even move my stops up at 38 now because I'm not worried. I can also move my stops 40s or 39.50s. You can see this level here. So that's how you manage your swings. And I can sell half my position. I can lock if I had 200 shares and I'm already up $5, and I can lock $500 and leave 100 shares. And I will only make money. I locked $100 means I already locked $500 profit on the $5 move. And I can keep the rest of the 100 shares in case it goes to 45, 45, 50, 46, right? So that's the importance of the charts, guys. Start drawing these chart patterns. Start drawing these downtrend lines like I showed you on SPY QQQs. Many other setups. JP Morgan was a little different setup, but this is how you do the swing trading with repeatable setups. Looking for that risk to reward ratio. You can't just randomly start buying anywhere. I wouldn't have bought it here. Why didn't I tweet about Hood 2 days ago? Because I was not close to my risk reward. This was giving my risk reward and the market was turning. The key is patience, to let the market settle, let the market come to you, let the trade come to you, and then you take the trade, and then you take the swing setup. So that was a Hood, guys. Winning swing. Hopefully we get more returns on this one. And we don't plan to sell it unless it breaks our risk over break-even price. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.